Nobody can question the integrity of the match officials. That's the sentence FIFA keeps repeating at this World Cup. They said it after Egypt accused their referee of double standards. On Saturday night, in a World Cup quarterfinal, they had to say it again. And this time, it wasn't some group stage minnow walking away furious. It was Switzerland, 10 minutes from potentially eliminating the defending champions of the world. Here's exactly what happened, because the sequence matters more than the headline. Argentina versus Switzerland, Kansas City, 72nd minute. Switzerland had just clawed their way level. For the first time all tournament, the champions looked human, maybe even beatable. Then the referee jogged over to the sideline monitor. He looked at the replay. He reversed his own decision. The yellow card he'd originally shown to an Argentine player got pulled back, and instead, it went to Switzerland's own forward, Breel Embolo, for simulation. Diving. That alone wouldn't have mattered much, except Embolo had already picked up a yellow card earlier in the first half. A second yellow is automatic. Red card, man down. In the space of one video review, Switzerland went from level with the reigning champions to playing out the rest of a World Cup quarterfinal with 10 men. So was the call actually correct? Watch the replay yourself before you decide. Embolo is clearly going down before any real contact arrives. Most neutral pundits who broke down the footage afterward agreed. This was probably the right call under the letter of the rule. And this wasn't even the first time this exact video protocol had been used at this tournament. Earlier in the group stage, in a far lower profile match between the United States and Paraguay, the video team reversed a wrongly carded player using the same process. Nobody complained that day. Nobody called it rigged, because that time, it didn't decide who reached the Final Four of a World Cup. So if the call was right, why is half the football world still arguing about it 3 days later? Because a correct decision sitting on its own is just a correct decision. This one didn't happen in a vacuum, and that's the part getting lost in every hot take about diving rules. 5 days earlier, in the round of 16, Argentina had gone 2 goals down to Egypt and looked completely finished, before scoring 3 unanswered goals in the final minutes to survive. Egypt walked off that pitch furious, a goal disallowed. 2 penalty appeals waved away without so much as a video review. Their own coach booked for making FIFA's official anti-discrimination gesture directly at the referee. Egypt's Football Federation didn't just complain to reporters afterward. They filed a formal written complaint with FIFA itself, accusing the officiating crew of double standards and demanding the referee be pulled from the rest of the tournament. FIFA's response, delivered by the head of its refereeing department, one of the most respected officials in the sport's history, was one sentence: nobody can question the integrity of the match officials. Same sentence, almost word for word. After Switzerland, 2 different countries, 2 different knockout rounds, 2 different tournaments away from a semifinal ended by decisions that broke the same way. Down to 10 men, Switzerland didn't collapse the way a lot of teams would have. They held their shape for nearly 20 minutes with a one-man disadvantage against the defending world champions in a stadium that had effectively become Argentina's home ground for the entire tournament. They dragged the game into extra time. For a while, penalties looked genuinely possible. Then, in the 112th minute, Julian Alvarez picked the ball up outside the box and curled a first-time strike into the top corner. The kind of finish that ends every argument about whether Argentina deserved to win on its own merits. A second goal followed seconds later in stoppage time. Final score, 3-1. Argentina through to the semi-final, Switzerland flying home. And here's a stat worth sitting with for a second. Switzerland have now met Argentina 8 times across the decades. 8 matches, 0 wins, not 1. On Saturday night, for about 20 minutes with a man sent off, they came closer to breaking that streak than they ever had in history, and it slipped away on a review that started with the referee getting the original call wrong. Because here's the detail almost nobody is talking about, and it changes how you should think about the whole sequence. The video team was only able to intervene and reverse that card because the referee had booked the wrong player in the first place. If he'd correctly identified who dived in real time, none of this happens. There's no review, no red card, no man advantage for Argentina. The entire chain of events that ended Switzerland's tournament exists because of an initial mistake by the official on the pitch. A mistake the video system then corrected in the exact direction that happened to benefit the reigning champions. The final outcome may have been the technically correct call. The road that led to it is strange enough that even people defending the decision admit it. Switzerland's coach didn't hold back afterward. He called it a harmless foul, if it was even a foul at all. He said the decision broke his team's entire rhythm in the biggest game of the tournament. He stopped just short of directly accusing Argentina of being protected by the officials, but he didn't need to say it out loud for the implication to land with everyone listening. His captain said the sending off completely changed the tempo of the match and left the dressing room in silence afterward. And Embolo himself walked off the pitch in tears, consoled by teammates on the way down the tunnel. The first player at this entire World Cup to be sent off under this specific new mistaken identity rule, in the single biggest match of his career, in the exact tournament that introduced it. Now zoom all the way out and look at Argentina's full run through this knockout stage, because one controversial call is a story, but 3 in a row is a pattern. They needed extra time just to survive Cape Verde, the smallest nation to ever reach that stage of a World Cup, in a game they very nearly lost outright. They needed a stoppage time comeback from 2 goals down to escape Egypt, a match that ended with a formal federation complaint on FIFA's desk, and now they've needed a controversial red card and extra time again just to get past a Switzerland side that, for long stretches, was genuinely the better team on the pitch. 3 knockout rounds, 3 moments standing right on the edge of elimination, and 3 times they've come through, while the team standing on the other side of the result walked off pointing at the officials. Clear, none of this proves a single match was fixed. Nobody serious is claiming that, and it's worth saying plainly. The calls, taken individually, mostly hold up under review, but a pattern doesn't need every individual piece to be wrong in order to be worth naming out loud. What's actually notable here isn't any one decision. It's that FIFA's only response, every single time this question gets raised, is the exact same sentence, repeated on loop, instead of an actual explanation of how these calls keep landing the same way at the moments that matter most. Argentina now move on to face England in the semi-final in Atlanta, with Lionel Messi, at 39 years old, chasing what may be his very last realistic shot at a World Cup final. England arrive with a genuinely strong, confident squad off the back of their win over Norway, and they will not be filing any complaints before kickoff. They'll simply try to win the game where it matters, on the pitch, but Argentina carry a record into that match that should worry any opponent regardless of form. They have never lost a World Cup semi-final, not once in the entire history of the tournament. So if Wednesday's game in Atlanta turns tight, if it comes down to one more marginal call and one more crucial moment, the entire football world is going to be watching that little monitor on the touchline light up again. And everyone will be waiting to see whether FIFA reaches for that exact same sentence one more time, or whether, eventually, repeating it stops being enough of an answer.